On health, we will be discussing the effects of smoking and drinking on male fertility with Dr. Damien Avar, aka Sabi Doctor. Believe me, that's what he's called. Now, he's a medical practitioner, social entrepreneur, and a health business consultant. He's also the founder of Doctors Hub Nigeria, a digital-based, simplified platform to access medical consultation for Nigerians. You are welcome, Dr. Damien.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Pleasure.
Now, today's topic is something that I'm sure most men who have lived their lives really want to get into. We're talking about certain practices that men or even women have and how it affects fertility. Yeah. To be specific, smoking. Now, I know that once you talk about smoking, mostly you're talking about how it affects the lungs.
Yes.
But then again, to now think, would it affect any other part of the human body or functions is a question I've never really thought about. Now, would it?
Absolutely. Okay. I mean, beyond the respiratory health, it can also affect the heart. Oh. Okay. It can affect, other parts of the body, the bowel. It can affect the bladder. It can affect the kidneys. It can affect the pancreas. Okay. There is no part of the body that is, an exception, that is bad. Okay. But with reference to fertility, because this is where most people don't really understand how, tobacco use can affect fertility. There are studies out there that have established a link between tobacco use and, depressed or reduced fertility in men. Not just men now, even women are also affected. Okay, so the effect is not something to be doubted. Yeah. The anti-fertility effect of smoking, men.
How exactly does it affect? Does it? I know the very rudimentary terms like low sperm count, or does it affect them in an anatomical way? Which is it?
Okay, so the way it works is twofold. You have the aspect where smoking affects. When I say smoking, primarily I'm referring to tobacco use. Affects the male sexual function. By extension, we're talking about erectile dysfunction. So that can lead to erectile dysfunction, which is not necessarily fertility related, more of sexual performance. Yeah. So that can cause that. All right. Then you now have the aspect where it affects fertility. Okay. So there are over 4,000 active pharmacological constituents in cigarettes or tobacco. All right, part of it is nicotine, which is the addictive, aspect of component of it. Yeah. You have tar, you have polycyclic hydrocarbons, you have, some
and all
other
those
heavy,
are adverse to the human body.
Yeah. So the way it works is nicotine, for example, which is a chief component of tobacco, can cause injuries to blood vessels. All right. When this happens, some level of narrowing takes place. So you have a case where the blood vessels begin to narrow such that, blood flow gets interrupted. And, I mean, anybody who understands erection knows that
is all about the flow of blood into it.
And beyond the fact that the narrowing happens and reduces blood flow, it also interrupts the, what we call the how will I put it?
Use a lighter word, because we wouldn't do that one.
So what happens is, blood gets taken to the penis during erection when the man is aroused. The veins, which empty blood out of it after an erection has it's been brought to an end, the valves of the veins, they get shut.
Hold up. So are you saying that one could be stuck with an erection for longer than necessary?
We call it preaphism.
Oh, wow.
All right. So what happens?
That can't be fun.
Not fun at all. It's not fun.
Yeah, after it can be fun.
It can cause permanent loss of penile function. Wow. Anyway, what happens there is one of the ways tobacco, or cigarette smoking can affect erectile dysfunction, or can affect male sexual function is the fact that the valves, it can disrupt that closure of valves and make it impossible for a man to sustain an erection.
You keep harping on tobacco, but tobacco is not the only recreative substance that people engage in when it comes to inhaling substances that are legal. Yeah. People also turn to Shisha, if that's what it's called, I think, Shisha. And from what I hear, sometimes these are even much more harmful. So is it the same with Shisha as well?
Okay. So, shisha is an interesting one. Shisha is also a form of tobacco. However, the concentration of this toxic constituent of tobacco in shisha is unbelievable. People
You mean
don't
it's
really,
higher?
yeah, it's higher.
Oh my goodness.
For example, what's they call it now? The nicotine component in shisha, all right? Shisha has 70% more nicotine
Wow.
than cigarette.
So why is it thought of as an alternative? Why do people turn to it thinking that it's healthier?
So I think that primarily was due to the fact that, you know, people in the media, entertainers now, they kind of made it look cool. So it was easier, yeah. You know, it was easier for people to like really adopt, and you know, the manufacturers just keyed into it, you know, projected the impression that this thing is not really harmful, but it is really harmful. Let me say this, you know, studies have shown that an hour long of smoking shisha is equivalent to smoking between 100 to 200 cigarettes.
Whoa, now that is a lot.
Found out that.
Yeah, but then there is another one. People also turn to vaping as well.
Yeah.
And that is harmful?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow. So there's nothing one could do there.
Nothing, including weed. Okay, weed, you know, in terms of fertility, the reports are controversial. Okay, some reports say there are negative
We're
effects.
talking about cannabis now.
Yeah, cannabis. Some reports say, you know, it exerts negative effect on fertility, while other reports are saying, you know, not really. It actually even boosts sperm count.
Okay.
So there is no consensus report on the, fertility effect of weed as of now.
So whatever it is, shisha, weed, cigarettes, the effects, are they curable? I know if it's the lungs, it will regenerate. The lungs have the fastest healing capacity of the body. But what about aspects of the body that concern?
No, that's the good thing with tobacco. Immediately you stop or you discontinue it, within 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 9 weeks after cessation, you start seeing improvement, even in sexual function. Blood, perfusion of blood to the, to the genitals.
Dr. Damien, it is quite revealing to have you on this segment here today, and we'd like to thank you very much. We'd like to have you in more, and I bet you we're going to have a lot of clicks and views on this one when it gets on social media.